Few expected the first real turbulence of the Caitlin Clark era to arrive so quickly. The Indiana Fever appeared poised to ride a wave of renewed energy, louder arenas, intensified media coverage, and expectations that had shifted from quiet rebuilding to visible contention. But momentum in professional sports is delicate, and sometimes a single unresolved contract can highlight how narrow the margin is between growth and instability. When Kelsey Mitchell did not immediately agree to ownership's latest offer, what might typically be routine negotiations began to feel symbolic of something larger. The situation underscored the importance of timing and leverage, especially within the context of a championship window. Clark's rookie contract provides valuable salary cap flexibility, allowing the front office to build strategically before future extensions and escalating financial commitments reshape the roster structure. Successful franchises recognize that such windows are temporary. They prioritize stability around their emerging star, reinforce veteran leadership, and minimize uncertainty before it evolves into distraction. Because once expectations rise, even standard contract talks can carry outsized implications.
Kelsey Mitchell's our number one priority. She was our number one priority last year. She'll be our number one priority this year. Are we about to see now? Does Kelsey Mitchell take a pay cut to stay with this team? Because with this new CBA that they're about to sign, you can't have three max players and court a quality team. Can't happen. Pay cuts gotta happen. We got to get into this, man. Welcome to Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Share the channel. Hit that bell notification and hype the video. That would be greatly appreciated. Now, shout out to Andy Scoops, Andy Constable over on Front Office Sports. Now, I'm just going to read a little clip. I already went through the whole article on the last video. The point of the matter is the Indiana Fever can't keep this damn core together and keep quality players on the team. Okay?
That's why Kelsey Mitchell's situation feels far bigger than a routine contract negotiation. She isn't a replaceable role player, a developmental project, or a situational scorer brought in for specific matchups. For the Indiana Fever, she has been one of the few steady offensive anchors during seasons when consistency was difficult to maintain. When Caitlin Clark draws double teams, Mitchell makes defenses pay. When games tighten in the final minutes, she can create her own shot. And when the spotlight intensifies, she understands the tempo and emotional rhythm of the WNBA. That kind of presence isn't something teams negotiate lightly. Yet ownership presented an offer, and Mitchell's camp didn't rush to accept. What once looked like a straightforward basketball decision quickly evolved into something more strategic. If Mitchell walks, the Fever wouldn't just be adjusting rotations, they'd be reshaping their identity. And in a moment when perception, momentum, and chemistry matter more than ever, identity carries weight that goes well beyond the stat sheet.
Specifically, Caitlin Clark. Aaliyah Boston is a vital part of Caitlin Clark's game with that pick and roll, so getting those two maxes should be the priority, Stephanie White. Stephanie White! You better do the right thing. If you guys give Kelsey Mitchell a full-on max contract, it is a bad thing. That means we won't be keeping Lexi Hall. We won't be able to keep Sophie Cunningham. They're not going to play for minimums, nor should they. Sophie Cunningham isn't going to be cheap, but she damn sure won't be a max or looking for near a max. She'll get a pay increase. Okay? Lexi Hall is due for a big pay increase, not max contracts. Okay? I believe the Indiana Fever will be better off with Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston.
The WNBA is evolving at a rapid pace. National conversations are louder, sponsorship discussions are expanding, and media coverage is accelerating. The Indiana Fever sit at the center of that shift largely because of Caitlin Clark, but one star alone cannot stabilize a franchise. That's the part rarely discussed. Stars accelerate attention, veterans stabilize systems. When stability becomes uncertain, panic doesn't erupt publicly. It whispers internally. Front offices project composure, speak about flexibility, and reference ongoing discussions, but behind closed doors they calculate risk. If production walks out the door, who replaces it? If negotiations drag into the season, what happens to chemistry? If fans sense instability, does momentum stall? Momentum is a living thing. It must be nurtured and protected, not tested unnecessarily. The Clark era was supposed to signal upward trajectory, not turbulence, yet turbulence has entered the frame. Meanwhile, Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hull have publicly reinforced unity, keeping their tone focused and their messaging consistent. Support the team, stay aligned, block out the noise. On the surface, that sounds routine, but timing shapes interpretation. Emphasizing unity during contract uncertainty signals awareness. This moment represents a first real stress test of the Clark era, not social media debates, not ratings comparisons, not jersey symbolism, but tangible roster pressure. Indiana is no longer invisible. Every move is amplified, every decision dissected, every misstep magnified, and ownership understands that reality. The 2026 season looms larger than expected as revenue discussions intensify league-wide, media rights positioning sharpens, and expansion conversations grow louder. If Indiana wants to be viewed as a flagship franchise in the league's next wave, internal instability is a risk it cannot afford. Clark's arrival reshaped the economic conversation around the Fever. Attendance surged, national broadcast multiplied, and merchandise demand climbed. But economic acceleration fuels expectation acceleration. Fans no longer accept slow development. They expect execution, contention, and urgency. That urgency inevitably collides with contract negotiations, because negotiations are ultimately leverage plays played out under a brighter spotlight than ever before.
With Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston, she's not going to be able to get a max contract. And if the Indiana Fever does it anyway, it is a bad move. It's bad business by the front office. It's terrible. It's terrible. And I would love for this big three to stay together, but due to the way this new CBA appears to look, you're not going to be able to keep three max players. Somebody's going to have to take a pay cut. And I don't believe Kelsey Mitchell's older, okay? That's another thing. She ain't even on the same timeline as Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston. She's way older. She older than them. She's older. I don't know if she's looking to take no shorts. Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark going to be in this league for a long time to make a lot of money. Kelsey Mitchell probably feeling like I got to get everything I'm due to get right now. Right now. I'm in the prime of my career.
Kelsey Mitchell's camp understands her value, and the Indiana Fever ownership understands the salary cap structure. But the longer this standoff lingers, the louder the central question becomes. Is Indiana willing to pay for continuity, or is it quietly preparing for a deeper reset? Resets during momentum are dangerous. They risk fracturing chemistry, signaling instability, and wasting valuable rookie contract years, especially with Caitlin Clark compressing the franchise timeline. That's a hidden tension. The organization was building patiently, but Clark accelerated the spotlight, forcing the front office to accelerate its strategy as well. If Mitchell stays, Indiana reinforces its foundation. If she leaves, the Fever must redefine their roster identity mid-acceleration, and that changes everything. The league is watching. Other players are watching. Agents are watching. When a franchise negotiates with a core veteran in a high-visibility era, it sends signals about commitment, ambition, and trust. Clark's competitive window isn't about a single season. It's about trajectory, and trajectory depends on alignment. Alignment between ownership and players, between vision and execution, between star power and veteran stability. Right now, that alignment is being tested. The Clark era's first real challenge isn't unfolding on the court. It's unfolding in the boardroom, where decisions shape championship paths more than highlight reels ever will. Mitchell's situation forces Indiana to reveal how serious it is about winning within this accelerated timeline. Do they invest aggressively? Protect cap flexibility? Gamble on development? Every option carries risk, but indecision carries the greatest risk of all. The worst-case scenario isn't Mitchell leaving. It's prolonged uncertainty, because uncertainty seeps into performance, fan confidence, and narrative framing. And narrative matters in a league climbing toward its next financial tier. The WNBA is in transition. Growth is accelerating, attention is multiplying, and Indiana has become one of the league's flagship storylines. That makes this negotiation more than local. It's symbolic of whether the Clark era will be backed by decisive action or managed with caution. This is the moment that separates good franchises from great ones. Stars create opportunity. Organizations determine whether that opportunity becomes sustained success.
How does this affect the Fever 2026 free agency? It says, assuming Mitchell is re-signed, her salary cap will jump more than 4 times in value from the base of $250,000 and would account for a higher percentage of the cap as well as the current construct. And she is just one of the team's free agents, okay? Only Clark, Boston, and last year's rookie Michaela Timpson are currently under contract, which means key contributors like Lexi Hall and Sophie Cunningham will also be on the market. And I think it's mandatory you bring both of those back. I would rather have Tres Leches with Aaliyah Boston and quality role players than having Kelsey Mitchell, Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, and nothing around it. I'm good on that. Hall is a restricted free agent, so Indiana can match any offer she receives, but her hustle and shooting has proven to be worth more than an average player, while Cunningham, who has made it clear she hopes to be back with the team, but also expressed the desire for more secure contract, so perhaps running it back will not be as straightforward as it once seemed, as the front office will be tasked with attempting to work out deals that also allow room for depth. Okay, fortunately, the Fever have the advantage of Clark and Boston still being on rookie contracts, but when they are up for extensions, things could become much more difficult. All right, last year, Mitchell returned to the Fever under the core designation, meaning she received a max salary for 1-year deal. It remains to be seen how the core rule could be impacted by the CBA, but assuming it exists relative to his current form, Mitchell could be cored again to keep her with Clark and Boston short term. Now that, hey, if you're gonna do that, that would make sense. Core her for 1 more year for the $1 million max or whatever it is. And after that, when Aaliyah Boston is up to get her max, you let Kelsey go because you can't sign.
Leadership is what ultimately protects opportunity. Kelsey Mitchell's decision will clarify the direction of the Indiana Fever, but ownership's response will define the franchise's ambition. The trajectory of Caitlin Clark's era will either stabilize or shift based on how the situation is resolved. The clock is ticking. And in professional sports, timelines rarely slow down for anyone. The first true test of the Clark era isn't unfolding on the scoreboard, it's unfolding in the strategy room. And how Indiana chooses to handle this moment could shape 2026 long, before the season ever tips off in the WNBA.